Welcome back. Another episode of Lori's Dollhouse Rejuvenation. It's summertime, so we're going to continue working outside. And in this episode, we're going to work on the front porch, this area right here. The lower railing has rotted out and failed. It's only a few years old, but it wasn't sealed well and not maintained well. So the rot happened fast because we've only had it a few months. And I've seen that railing detach, and then the balusters up above have actually become detached from that upper railing as well. So the first thing I'm going to do is prop this up and support it to the level that it should be. So a little exploratory surgery with a screwdriver here, just estimating the depth of the wood rot. And here's always a decision point with rot. You have to decide whether to repair or replace. I'm going to go ahead and gamble and repair. So I'm going to use a Harbor Freight special here. This is just a medium-sized pry bar from Harbor Freight, and I did sharpen the tip just to give me a little extra bite, but I'm going to get all of that rotted and dead, soft, non-supportive wood out of there, and this is a pretty good tool to do it with. It's kind of like dental work. That sounds kind of gross, but in my mind I'm getting the cavities out. So I'm just going to carve away here at all of the soft stuff until I hit actual wood that remains. So what's left here is wood. All of the rotted stuff is gone, and I will stop when I get to all of the solid surfaces. And you can see there is quite a bit. I think you could probably make a case for replacing this lower rail, but once again I decided to repair. No stopping now. This is wood hardener, found just about everywhere, and it's going to stabilize and harden the wood that's left behind. There are a lot of wood filler products on the market, and today I'm going to use the one on the left, the Elmer's. And this is just simply filling the hole, and there are some techniques to doing this. Because the void is pretty big, I'm going to layer the wood filler. I'm not going to fill that entire void with wood filler in one shot because I want it to harden and dry properly. So I will take about 4 days to do this. Now it doesn't take all 4 days, but a little bit of time on each day. Matter of fact, the hardest work has already been done, and that's excavating and developing the scope of the real problem. But you can kind of see the line on the post there that I'm working up to. And once again, I'm going to layer this. So day one, I'm just going to do kind of a thin layer, and I will create some indentations there so that on the second day when I come back, there's something for the new material to grab onto. This stuff bonds pretty well to itself. Did want to give it every advantage to layer and bond properly. So day two, kind of more of the same. I'm going to build that up, and once again I'm going to build this up to about where that original line was, and I have just a bit of a trick here. More of a technique than a trick, but this is much like a screed board. When somebody's pouring concrete, they're going to follow kind of the contours of a form, and here I'm going to follow the contour of the original railing to make sure that I get the profile right. Kind of self-explanatory what I'm doing here, but this way I'm going to ensure that the final product will look like one seamless piece. I think it'd be pretty hard to do that otherwise. Here's kind of the final layering, and when I say final, I mean almost final. This is going to give me that final contour of the railing, and then after this dries I'll come back and there will be just a little bit of touch up, some minor gaps to fill, and some minor imperfections to take care of. Final day, the fourth day. Once again, this is not an all-day, everyday project. Literally, this is about 10 minutes of fill and shaping work, and then probably 15 minutes of sanding on this final day. I'm going to use a block sander. I feel pretty confident that I've got the contour of the fill that matches the railing, so the block sander is going to help me maintain some straight and level lines. If you don't use that, if you just use your hands, the tendency is to create some waves in the filler. So this is going to help me maintain a nice flat finished surface. I did go back, not on camera, and fill just some minor imperfections with the same product. And because the railing had rotted and fallen off of the porch, I'm going to work to support this railing. So I'm going to throw an L bracket underneath there, and then also I'm going to toenail just a few long screws in there. I'm using 3-inch screws. So a little touch-up sanding, final touch-up sanding. Like I said, I went back and I added just a little bit more filler, and then it's time for paint. So once I was happy with the contours and happy with how smooth the product is, I'm going to go ahead and add a few coats of paint. Now I am a fan of adding a layer of paint, letting it dry, and then caulking, because I feel like caulking tends to fail before paint a lot of times, and this is a high sun area of the house. So this way there's one more level of protection, that paint underneath that caulking. So paint, caulking, and then a few more layers of paint. And we will paint the entire house in the fall, so I'm not going to paint this entire area, just enough to keep the weather out and the rain out and to give it a good base for the final paint job in the fall. And here's the final product. I think it matches well. Looks great to a person riding by on horseback. Here's a little side-by-side. Before is on the right, and then of course now or after is on the left. So hope that was helpful. I know it looks good to me and I'm happy with it. So don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons, and you'll want to hit the bell so that you're notified of future content. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.